There's an epidemic sweeping through modern society. It's not on the front pages. It's not trending, but it's everywhere. In the classroom, in the workplace, in homes, in prisons, and in cemeteries. It's in your brother, your son, your boyfriend, your friend, maybe in you. Men are disappearing, not in the literal sense, but in purpose, in presence, in power, and in peace. Men are vanishing, not with violence, not in protests, but in silence. And the world just keeps scrolling. And the most haunting part? Nobody seems to care. Look around you. More boys are dropping out of high school. More men are giving up on college. More fathers are vanishing from the homes. More young men are retreating into video games, porn, and isolation. More are dying, earlier, lonelier, and often by their own hands. This isn't an exaggeration. This is data. This is real life. And it's happening in real time. This is the silent epidemic, a slow bleed from the soul of masculinity in America. Let's get painfully real. Men make up 93% of workplace deaths. Men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. Men account for over 80% of all homeless individuals. 70% of all school suspensions and expulsions are boys. Men are 80% of opioid overdose deaths. These aren't stats. These are warning signs. These are flares going up in the night sky, and no one's sending help. In 2023, over 70% of all suicides in the U.S. were men. Yet mental health conversations remain disproportionately focused on women. Why? Because men don't cry out. They vanish. They quit. They ghost. They implode. Walk into a university campus today, and you'll find a 60-40 split. Women outnumbering men. Fast forward to the workforce. Men in their prime working years, ages 25 to 54, are disappearing from jobs. Not fired, not retired, just absent. And no one knows where they've gone. Let's talk about social death. The average American male today reports fewer than 2 close friends. Compare that to the 1990s when most men had 5 or more. Take Brian, a 33-year-old software engineer in Chicago. Single, remote worker, lives alone. He wakes up, logs in, works 8 hours, microwaves dinner, scrolls Reddit, plays Xbox, and falls asleep to YouTube. He hasn't had a real conversation with anyone outside work in 6 days. This isn't abnormal. It's the new normal. The rise of isolation is not accidental. It's systemic, and it's killing men. Not just mentally, but physically. Loneliness is now considered as dangerous to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Where are the boys? Across the U.S., boys are falling behind in school, in reading, in writing, in engagement. Teachers are mostly female. The curriculum often caters to female development styles. And the result? By 8th grade, boys are far more likely to be labeled problematic, disruptive, or unmotivated. So what happens? They check out. They stop trying. They start associating school with failure, and from there, the cycle begins. Poor education, low job prospects, low self-worth, emotional shutdown, social retreat. Ask yourself, when was the last time you heard anyone say, "We need to protect our boys"? Not lately? That's because society sees men as either predators or protectors. And when they don't perform either role perfectly, they're discarded. They're told to man up when struggling. They're told to shut up when expressing. They're told they're privileged, even when they're drowning. Here's a gut-punch example. Veterans make up 6% of the U.S. population, but over 13% of the homeless. And 90% of them? Men. These are men who went to war for their country. Now they sleep under bridges while society scrolls past them. Where's the outrage? We're also seeing an explosion in relationship chaos. Marriage rates are plummeting. More men are walking away from dating altogether. Why? Because for many men, love has become a losing game. Family courts often strip fathers of custody, reduce them to visitors in their own children's lives. Divorce wipes out savings, assets, and sometimes reputations. One false allegation, true or not, can end a man's career overnight. So now, millions of men are choosing silence over risk, isolation over heartache. They aren't bitter. They're exhausted. They're not hiding from women. They're hiding from the pain of being unwanted, unheard, and unprotected. Men are not always dying. Sometimes they're just numbing. The porn industry makes billions feeding dopamine addictions. Gaming companies design worlds that reward effort, unlike the real one. Social media offers shallow validation, but zero real connection. Why is this important? Because for the first time in U.S. history, more men under 30 are reporting no sex at all in the past year than ever before. But this isn't just about sex. It's about connection, touch, presence. Men are checking out, emotionally, socially, romantically. Turn on the TV. What do you see? Men are villains. Men are idiots. Men are obsolete. Fathers are mocked. Husbands are boring. Boys are problems waiting to happen. This narrative might get clicks, but it costs lives. Real men, good men, are being erased in silence, replaced with stereotypes, punchlines, or political scapegoats. And young boys are growing up with no roadmap, no tribe, no mission, just shame. Let me tell you about John, a real guy from Ohio, 28 years old, talented graphic designer. After his father passed, he spiraled into isolation. His job became remote. His girlfriend left. His social circle shrunk to zero. One night, after not speaking to a single human for over 3 weeks, John made a post online. "Does anyone care if I disappear?" There were no replies. 3 days later, he did. Jason, 17, from Kansas. He's bright, loved Minecraft, built incredible worlds online. But in real life, he was fading. School bored him. Teachers said he lacked discipline. At home, his single mom worked 2 jobs. No dad around. At 16, he stopped turning in assignments. At 17, he stopped going to school. At 18, he didn't walk the stage. But Jason never shouted, never snapped, never rebelled. He just disconnected. His mom told a counselor, "He's not angry. He's not even sad. He's just gone." When women are depressed, society sees tears. When men are depressed, society sees silence. Men don't tend to say, "I'm not okay." They say, "I'm tired. I'm fine. I've just been busy." Male depression shows up in withdrawal, in alcohol, in porn, in risk-taking, in silence, and often in a smile right before the suicide. We're taught that men should be strong, but strength, when twisted, becomes a cage. Thomas, 42, warehouse shift manager in Phoenix. 20 years in the same job, respected, never missed a day. Then the plant shut down. He applied to 45 jobs. No callbacks. His wife, who once relied on him, now resented him. His kids avoided him. He started drinking, quietly, alone. Last anyone heard, Thomas was living in his car. This isn't fiction. This is thousands of Thomases across America. Men whose value was tied to their labor. And once that labor disappeared, so did they. Masculinity has become a dirty word. Turn on any mainstream show or TikTok rant, and you'll hear the same phrases. Toxic men, the patriarchy, male privilege. And yes, there are men who abuse power. Yes, some systems have been imbalanced. But here's the twisted result. We threw away the toxic water and drowned the baby too. We've pathologized masculinity, treated stoicism like apathy, labeled strength as aggression, shamed assertiveness, mocked protectiveness. And now we wonder, where have all the men gone? We didn't lose them. We pushed them away. Eric, 29, from Atlanta, had a daughter at 25, was ready to be a better father than the one who left him. But after a bitter breakup, his ex won full custody. He got weekends, then holidays, then nothing. One false claim, no evidence, led to a restraining order. He couldn't afford the legal fight. Today, he watches his daughter grow up on Instagram. Eric isn't dead, but a piece of him is. He told a friend, "I'm a father with no child, a protector with no one to protect." These men are everywhere. The guy in front of you at the gas station, the man you ignore on the bus, the boy quietly failing in the back of the classroom. They don't explode, they erode, bit by bit, day by day, until nothing is left but a ghost in sneakers. Men were designed, biologically, psychologically, for mission. When boys are young, they crave challenge. They look for maps, codes, systems, games. They want to fight dragons. They want to be someone. But what happens when the modern world offers them nothing worth protecting? Nothing worth conquering? No dragons, only deadlines. No tribes, only timelines. No brotherhood, just broadband. What you get is a man without a mission, a man without a map, a man with a full stomach, a full inbox, and an empty soul. Let's talk about something no one wants to touch. The trust between men and women is breaking. Social media is flooded with "men are trash" trends. In response, the manosphere is growing louder, angrier. Divides are deepening. Algorithms are feeding us fear. Young men feel blamed. Young women feel unsafe. And while we bicker over tweets, entire generations of men are quietly slipping off the grid.